On July 31st, 2018, a new custom game mode was posted to the Garry's Mod Steam Workshop. Many treasured game modes have already been etched into the minds of players as some of the cornerstones of Garry's Mod, which are mostly seen here. But, while fun enough to last the test of time, not many have been as mind-blowing and unique as the one we will be looking at today. With its crazy mechanics and its lovable characters, this mod is bound to give players the ride of their life. Welcome to Jazztronauts. Before we talk about the mod itself, I think it's pretty important to go over its objective and its developers. To track how Jazztronauts was developed, I studied up on the game design document that Mr. Sonabuzu, one of the creators, made available through a tweet of his. I put the link in the description for anyone who wants to see the whole thing. To summarize the concept of the game, I'll be quoting one of the first sentences in the document, which reads, "The goal is to explore and find items in randomly selected user levels using a suite of custom tools and mechanics to enable the player a greater variety of options to traverse any given level." Another sentence reads, "Jazztronauts is a simple story and cast of new characters to help players get into the mindset of exploring these levels for a purpose, serving to eventually get far enough to see an ending." Now this is a huge undertaking, and what's amazing about it is that only a handful of people were working on this. With such a small team, consisting of only 8 people, it's a wonder that they were able to crank out something so hugely different from your typical Gmod game mode. But if you've been around the source modding community for a while, you may see some familiar faces in this lineup. Some of these guys have worked on Elevator Source, Gmod Cinema, and of course my favorite, Gmod Tower, which became the standalone game Tower Unite. Not to forget that some of these people were behind certain parts of Black Mesa and the Stanley Parable. It's really no surprise that with a team like this, 8 people or not, of course they'd knock it out of the park. Jazztronauts is a game where you and your friends get thrown into workshop maps, and using your newly acquired prop snatcher, your aim is to pillage everything that isn't nailed down, and sometimes things that are nailed down if you want to. As you progress, you'll be able to buy access to more tools sold by the bartender. Such tools will help you run faster, jump higher, summon the power of the Dark Lord of the Underworld to teleport through walls, and you can even buy this little motion-sensitive instrument. The reason you're doing this is to appease your new cat overlords who go from map to map, pirating their content. The ultimate goal is to collect these shards though. They're procedurally generated around each map, which can sometimes lead to them being placed in hard-to-reach locations, so you might have to pull some tricks out of your sleeve to get to them sometimes. While I love this game, I still haven't played through the whole story yet, so the only reasons I know of for collecting the shards are reasons. Each entity stolen rewards you with a cash prize, but you'll mostly be looking for specific things to advance your bond with each of the game's charming characters. As you collect more of what each cat wants, you'll be able to experience little dialogue-based scenarios where you develop your friendship with each one. While this isn't crucial to the gameplay, it definitely bolsters the presentation, making this an experience you'll want to see through to the end. Speaking of presentation, Jazztronauts has some absolutely beautiful assets in it. From the design of the hub area to the transitional segments with the bus, a lot of things about this mod just look stunning. The music choice is great too, and makes up everything you're hearing behind this video, by the way. It's a shame that Jazztronauts probably wouldn't work as a standalone game, like what Pixel Tail did with Tower Unite. The reason I say this is because its whole shtick relies on the pre-existing user-created maps found on the workshop. That's what makes this game so cool though. As seen in their design document, practically the whole purpose of this mod is to celebrate the creativity and unending passion of the source modding community. Jazztronauts allows you to explore user-created maps and worlds that may otherwise go completely unseen. It provides attention and exposure to some really cool maps out there, even going as far as to keep a running list of all the maps you've explored between each session. There are over 24,000 custom maps uploaded to the Gmod workshop right now, and that's nothing to scoff at. Each one is accessible in this mod, and I think it's really cool in the unique way that it puts a spotlight on each one. I don't understand how something this popular can also be so obscure at the same time. At one point, Jazztronauts was the most popular game mode of all time, but that doesn't mean it was the most downloaded. This is where it rests in popularity now, as of May 7th. I compare this to Prop Hunt, a game mode that 100% of Garry's Mod players should recognize. While this doesn't seem like any huge difference, given how close they are on the popularity board, Jazztronauts pales in comparison to the amount of subscribers the more established game modes are able to flaunt. That's why I really wanted to make this video, just so my favorite mod can get more of that love and attention that it deserves. Seriously, grab your friends and go play it. That's what I did with my dudes, and we've been having a great time. One of my favorite moments was actually in the beginning when we befriended a charred corpse.
Oh.
You know what? We'll call this guy Jim. He looks like a Jim.
Oh, this guy. Oh, there he is. Hey, Jim.
All right, well, we got our objective. Let's head home, boys.
We got our life shade. Yeah, give it to Jim. Yeah.
Hey, it's Jim.
Jim!
Oh my God. Jim!
Hi, Jim.
Jim, we miss you. Please.
Please
Oh.
come back.
Come back.
Jazztronauts is an absolute blast, and you should really play it while you can. Mr. Sonabuzu warns that it's better to play this sooner rather than later, as Gmod does get frequent updates, some of which can break compatibility. That being said, the dev team still graciously checks in every so often to ensure that it's still playable. Some of my friends did have to troubleshoot to get things downloading properly, but I largely blame Gary's mod itself for this, since it's been acting just as wonky on other downloads for me lately. But it was all worth it to see Jim's smiling face.
Oh, hey, look, National Treasure.